Hi guys, well today we're going to be taking a look at the ASUS Maximus VII Gene. Now this board is of course from the Republic of Gamers line, and in the last video review we actually took a look at its bigger brother, the Ranger. The major difference however with this board is of course the size of it, with it being that smaller form factor of micro ATX. So Gene is again another 9 series board. It uses the new Intel Z97 chipset, so it's going to work in conjunction with Intel's new Devil's Canyon CPUs, as well as the Haswell chips, such as your 4770K. Actually, just this week we've published a full review of the new 4790K. So if you're wanting to check out the performance, the overclocking, all of the information on that new chip, then just hit the Intel logo to the right of me. Maximus VII Gene packs in a number of prominent features onto that condensed micro ATX form factor. So those of you who are wanting to build inside a smaller case but still want the high-end features are likely to be pleased with what Gene has to offer. Now in terms of the pricing for this board, you're looking at around £158 in the UK. Over in the States you're looking at around $200 to $210. And we're now going to jump in, have a good look at the packaging as usual, the bundle, and then have a look at the board itself. If you're interested in the actual performance of this particular board, then make sure you head over to that link in the description. Right, jumping in with the packaging, as you can see, usual sort of thing from the ROG series. We've got a red box, similar typography. We've got the supporting features running along the bottom. Support there for Intel's 4th and 5th generation of CPUs. 5th generation is supposed to be coming later this year. Intel Z97 chipset, SLI crossfire support, 4K support if you're running off the onboard graphics. The outputs are there and they will give you 4K, so that's nice. Windows 8.1 ready, so that's good. And as usual, the lid opens out to reveal some of the fundamental features that you get on this board, and it's all presented very clearly. Taking the box and flipping it over, you can see that we've got the technical specifications, a full listing there. Gives you such details as the memory compatibility, the LAN, the audio, all those things that you get. We're not going to go through every single detail there, as you look at the actual board itself, we're actually going to look at all these things anyway, so there's no point. Okay, delving inside the box, the first thing that we meet is the motherboard itself. Taking this out, we've got this tray, plastic lid, gives you a bit of a preview as to what you get inside. Have a look at that later. And then inside here we've got the bundled accessories. So here we've got a combination of 6 SATA 36G cables. We have the Supreme FX audio module. And then inside here we have the door hanger. We have these stickers for hard drives. Useful thing to have that if you've got quite a number of drives. It's just useful to be able to identify which is which. We've got a cushioned and a black rear I/O shield. We have the NVIDIA SLI bridge, that's a flexible one. Quick connect, allows you to get your computer case cables plugged in, really easy. That's a nice feature. And we've got of course, the driver CD, all the software, a case badge inside there as well, you can see. And then we've got the user manual, which details everything that you need to know if you come across any problems. And of course it's got those codes there for the post. Of course we've got the LED debug, so you need to reference to those, and it's just very extensive and useful to have. Having looked at the packaging, we're now going to take a look at the board itself. So here we have Gene. ROG has done away with that shiny black PCB that we've seen on previous generations, and they've opted for a smooth matte black finish. And the combination of the black and the red used throughout the board and the design looks stunning. It's likely to be able to pair up with different hardware very well. And just from an initial look, you can really appreciate just how many features have been crammed onto this micro ATX form factor. As we continue, we're now going to look at every feature on the board in detail. And so the socket is clearly LGA 1150, which allows you to install the 4th generation of CPUs, and it will have support there for the upcoming 5th generation as well. Around the socket we have 2 large heatsinks which cover the MOSFETs, and both of those heatsinks are interconnected by a copper heat pipe. Now Gene uses an 8+2 phase power design via Extreme Engine Digi+3. So the power delivery is all digital, and there are a number of significant components used throughout the board, which include the following. We've got NextFET power block MOSFETs, 60 amp ferrite chokes, and 10K black metallic capacitors. And just behind the heatsinks there is an 8-pin EPS CPU power socket, and we also have the dual CPU fan headers, which are now becoming customary for motherboard design. Turning our attention to the memory, we have 4 DIMM slots, paving the way for dual channel DDR3 support. Gene can accommodate up to 32GB of memory and up to 3300 MHz. In this region we have Pro Belt, which allows you to use your multimeter to accurately monitor the voltages compared to using software which can sometimes chuck out incorrect readings. LED debug is there on the board too, and that allows you to diagnose any problematic boot ups. We've also got MemOK, which ensures a fail-safe boot for incompatible memory. And then just next to the 24-pin power, we've got a single USB 3 header for connectivity at the front of the computer case. Now for me, one of the most surprising aspects of Gene is the storage options. Although the board is micro ATX, there's up to 8 SATA 36G ports, and ROG includes an M.2 slot there next to the PCI Express slots, and that can accommodate type 2260 and 2280 SSDs. And so there's plenty of flexibility there where storage is concerned. Next up we have the PCI Express slots, which comprise of just 2 PCI Express 3.0 X16s, which will operate at X8 if you're going to be using them simultaneously with NVIDIA SLI or AMD Crossfire. But if you're using a single card configuration, it's best to use that top slot, as that will run at X16. Now additionally we've got a single PCI Express 2.0 X4, which can be used for multimedia devices, etc. At the very bottom of the board you'll notice that we've got those onboard power and reset buttons. They're ideal if you're going to be using a test bench. We've also got the Keybot and the Soundstage buttons. We saw both of those on the Ranger. So Keybot allows you to apply macros and functions to a standard USB keyboard. All you have to do is plug the USB keyboard in, activate Keybot by pressing that button, and then with the provided software you can begin assigning commands. And then with Soundstage, this works alongside Supreme Effects, and it allows you to switch between different audio profiles on the fly. And then just before we round things off, as part of the rear I/O panel, we have the following: a mini PCI Express slot, ROG Connect and Clear CMOS buttons, PS2 keyboard mouse with 2 USB 2 ports, optical SPDIF out, and an HDMI port which gives you up to 4K resolution, a gigabit LAN port with 2 USB 3 ports, and then 2 USB 2 and 2 USB 3 ports. Now additional to this we have a set of pins which work in conjunction with the supplied Supreme Effects module. This plugs directly into the motherboard and it allows you to take full advantage of the Supreme Effects feature set. So that in a nutshell is the new Maximus VII Gene, and whilst it does have some of the ROG features missing, in fairness it includes more than you would expect in such a condensed workspace. You know, the ROG engineers have done an excellent job in designing this layout and also deciding where specific features will be placed. Now, I don't actually use micro ATX myself because I've got quite a big case, but I know if I was looking for one, I would certainly look at this, pop it on the shortlist, because there are actually very few boards that match up to this type of caliber. So let me know what you guys actually think of this board. You know, perhaps you're contemplating a move onto the Z97 platform and you know, looking for something that with this sort of feature set. Would it be something that you would actually consider? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful, guys. If you're looking for the performance and perhaps a little bit more detail, make sure you head over to that link in the description for the full review. Thanks for watching. Hope you do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very soon.